5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're in the pipe, 5 by 5.
This is the 5 on Film podcast.
Hello and welcome to 5 on Film, the podcast where we try and break down the top 5 in the world of film. Joining us this week, bringing the heat, it's Matt.
Hey everybody, good to see you, Al Pacino. Hoo-ha!
The Godfather, John.
Hello.
He does have a bad throat.
Let's hope he didn't get lost down Carlito's way. It's Chris.
Ooh, give me all you got.
And the guest this week who picked our topic, the devil that is Mike.
Oh, that's my top 5. What am I allowed to say? I don't know what I'm going to say. How's it going, people? I would like to say thank you so much for inviting me to a celebration of the films of the best actor of all time. I really appreciate this very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How's everyone doing?
Thank you for joining us, Mike. It is an honour and a privilege. As are we all. So this week's topic, as has already been displayed, is Al Pacino movies. We're going to try and break down the top 5 of Al Pacino. Here's how the show works. We're going to start off by each nominating a film, and if 2 or more of the other panelists agree, it's going to go on our initial list, our first list. We're going to try and get to 7 films, and then once we've got those 7, we're going to knock out 2, leaving us with our 5 for this week, and then we're going to rank that top 5. A little bit of housekeeping. We're on the socials, 5 on Film Podcast, on all of them, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and we're on YouTube. Hopefully you're watching us on YouTube, or we're on Spotify and we're on iTunes if you're listening to us there. So find us on either of those. Give us a subscribe, give us a like. All of that helps us out. This week, the aforementioned Al Pacino, and we're going to try and break down his top 5. Starting us off, our guest for this week, Mike. What is the first
I'm gonna go
film?
first. Oh,
What is the
my
first film that
days!
deserves
Let me
to be
stay
on this
up
list?
for this. Oh, I got tingles. Let me adjust. All right, so my first pick. Oh, well, it has to, it's Scarface, obviously.
Okay.
Obviously, this man
why?
here. Why? You gotta ask me why.
I am indeed.
Well, okay. So I thought a lot about this because I mean this is my personal favorite. And I weighed up what I thought was the best made film versus my favorite film. And I struggle because I do think, I'm allowed to say, I think, for example, Godfather is a better made technically film, you know.
One or two, Mike.
I can't be giving it away, Mr. Chris. I'd be giving it away.
All right, so just
let's say
as a
one.
whole,
Okay, Coppola's better than De Palma.
Let's say 1 and 2. 1 and 2. One and two are technically better made films, but like Scarface takes you on a journey. Like that film is like by the end of it, I am just exhausted. You know, the way he comes in when you see him coming from Cuba, he's one character, you know, and he's like very very quickly such an explosive character. Like I've even to this day, very few times have I seen like a character that jumps off the screen as much as he does in that. Like the guy is just out of control. It's like the whole film's like a massive opera, over the top, like play, like all about excess, and just over the top, everything over the top, everything from drug use to violence to language, everything is just blown out of proportion, But,
so, Mike, for anybody who
Yes.
hasn't seen it, give me a very quick 2-line synopsis of what it's
Synopsis,
about and why they should
so-
watch it.
No, I can't be doing that. I'm not very good at that. I can do a Spanish accent, but it's not the same. No, so it's basically, well, first of all, it's a remake, but it's a remake that takes liberties, isn't it, from the original? I think it's 1932, Howard Hughes' Scarface. But here is basically about an actor refugee from Cuba who goes over to America, supposed to gain, a better future for himself. But for that means basically he straight away finds that in what would you say, in the drug world, I guess, So it's about someone who comes over to America, to make a bigger life for himself. Unfortunately, it's just in a world of crime, and so it's kind of like the rise and fall of what would you say, a very powerful man, I guess. So it's about everything that just encapsulates that world, right? So it's murder, betrayal, it's violence, it's drugs, it's love. It has everything, it's like a big violent drama. The acting, some people think it's over the top. Most people are liars. But it's just Al Pacino's performance to me, just like the film I would love anyways. It's such a good film, and it is just so in your face, and it's just, I don't know, like there's scenes in it that still shock you, like the chainsaw scene, in the shower room, everything. That's still shocking to see. It still hits, but it's Al Pacino's performance that just. And he's done this in a few films, but he just elevates that to even a higher level. Like that guy, he stills every scene he's in. It's like he says every line with just pure aggressiveness. And so like I've watched that film hundreds of times. It's one of the first films I think I was 12 when I bought it. I think with my dad. I didn't have any idea, but because I'd always hear the name Al Pacino growing up, right? And I was like, man, who the hell is this guy? I'd hear that name all the time, and I'd hear. A lot of people talk about Scarface. A lot of people, especially like in like the hip hop world, like Scarface is a very big influential film, and so I would see a lot of rappers mention Scarface as their favorite film. And so I remember thinking, I need to see this film, and I saw it one time, like on VHS. Disgusting, we're so old. And like $5.99 VHS, like in the corner shop somewhere. So I bought it, and I was just like mesmerized. Like I could not stop thinking about it. I watched it in one go. I watched it again the very next day and probably the day after, and I just fell in love with Al Pacino as an actor in that film. And I think also the way, there's very few actors who have done this. He's done it again in the Godfather 1, and DiCaprio did the same thing in Wolf of Wall Street, where he starts off with one character and you just see him change completely by the end, and it's just like the distance he's traveled and the way he's changed is just. It's just insane, and it's just, and it really hits, like, when you see the ending, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but when the ending happens, I remember just every time the credits would just be almost over, and I've just sat there thinking about it, like, it just hits so hard. But mostly it's his performance of that. It's disgusting. He didn't even get nominated for an Oscar. They should be ashamed of themselves to this day. Not even a nomination. It's just, I'm sick thinking about it. But, yeah, okay. You should watch it if you haven't.
Indeed. So, our first round.
That's my opinion.
Nomination from Mike. Scarface. Chris, are you going to agree? Is it one of the top 7, shall we say for now, Al Pacino movies?
Yes, it is.
Excellent.
God bless you, Mr. Chris.
John?
I've actually only just watched this for this podcast. This is the first time I saw it, and I really have to say it has not aged well. And there are lots of films that have kind of done this story but better. I mean, it's not exactly an original story to start with, but yeah, it's good. It's Brian De Palma, and Brian De Palma definitely brings a special something to it. It's Oliver Stone doing his taking it out on the South Americans yet again, and yeah, I'd put it in the set. I'd put it in the 7.
Nice one. Well, that's 3. Mike, it's made it through. Matt,
got that right, it has.
Yes.
Yes.
You wouldn't have said yes.
No.
Why is that?
It's clearly well out of the top 10 of Al Pacino's top 10 movies. It's just I've said this to you before, Mike. I've got a story about Scarface. Right, I was doing my A levels, and for anyone who's watching, A levels are higher, just below higher education, just below university in the UK, and I did half of them. I'd done maybe 2 or 3, and then I had another 2 or 3 to go, and I got really, really ill. And I was big into recording VHSs off the telly, as you would do. And I'd seen funny enough, this was my first Al Pacino movie that I really wanted to see. I was desperate to see it. I'd seen it on. We've mentioned this before. It's Movie Drone.
Yeah,
with,
Movie Drone.
BBC Two with Movie Drone. Right. So one of those was like, this is coming up. I know this is a series that's coming out, and we're going to release Scarface on BBC Two. So put your VHSs and record it. And I had an exam the next day. Right, and I got really, really ill during the night, and I was watching it and I was recording it at the same time. And I turned it off, and I was really ill and I was sick. I ended up not doing my A-levels, my second half of my A-levels, because I got so ill I had to go into hospital, and I missed it completely. And I was like, the one thing that I was really, really worried about was the fact that I'd missed the recording of Scarface. I was that gut. I was like, I don't care whether I've missed my A-levels. I haven't seen Scarface. I'm so gutted. It's like, I don't want to go out and buy the VHS because I wasn't old enough at that point. Anyway, I do like the film. It is a very good film, but I do think it ranks so far below on every other Al Pacino performance and movie.
Oh my God! I'm like you, Chris. I'm like you. I'm about to walk out. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I remember you telling me, Matt, that you I think you dabbled in some, at school. I think maybe your mind was clouded a little bit.
Man, his accent in this is absolutely atrocious. It's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it.
It is an Italian pretending to be a Puerto Rican. So,
but even then, he doesn't pretend to be anything other than I'm going to be Mr. Over the Top. And I think the 80s, it's the only decent movie he made in the 80s. The only decent movie. Every other movie he made in the 80s.
I cannot. Oh my God.
Take the 80s, scrunch you up in a big ball, throw it away. Terrible.
Yeah, you know what?
Anyway, I mean, sorry.
I was going to say I'll back you up, because Michelle Pfeiffer. In fact, the women in this film are there basically to serve the men.
Terrible.
Michelle Pfeiffer is basically there just to look skanky. And just not like him. And then Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, who plays his sister. I mean, she's literally there just to get her kit off. So,
and also as well, I'm not really keen on the old brother sister incesty type kind of like note that Brian De Palma was going for. I'm not a big fan of that. I tell you what I do like. I like the music. Giorgio Moroder, always good for music. Really, really good. I don't know. I like the movie. This is the problem when we talk about top fives, top tens, whatever, is the fact that I'm not dissing the movie because I don't not like it. I do like it a lot. It's just nowhere near his top five. Nowhere near. Nowhere.
Well, it's made it.
But that writer's made it.
And I'm gonna back up one of Matt's statements, because I think it is the only good movie he made in the 80s of the movies that I've seen. There's one or two that I'm missing in there, but of all the movies that I've seen that he made in the 80s, I think this is the only one that
he took a big break in the 80s. Can't blame him. He was hardly there.
He did do lots of movies in the 80s.
Right.
To be fair, but
The Sea of Love.
Yeah, but I would have said yes, Mike.
God bless you, my friend.
I'm going to say that it definitely needs to.
I'm shocked. I thought at least one other of you guys would be with me with the Outlaws. Yeah. I'm quite shocked.
To be fair, Matt, I'm kind of like this.
It's terrible.
I am like this.
The ending.
I couldn't decide.
I'm shaking my head too, Chris. I'm shaking my head too.
What I would really like to know, though, is, Matt, did you pass your A-levels? With the extra time that you would have got.
Clearly, I'm here with you guys, so clearly I managed to get a decent job.
Nice one. Well, we have one film on the list. I'm going to roll around to Chris. Chris, what have you got for the second nomination for Al Pacino's top five?
Well, I'm hoping this one will be received slightly better than Scarface. It's my favourite film featuring Al Pacino, where he plays LAPD detective Vincent Hanna. opposite Robert De Niro's Criminal, bank robber, in Heat, Michael Mann's Heat. It's the first time that they put the two of them together in the same scenes, in the same film, and it's just an amazing film and a fantastic performance from both of them. And Al Pacino and Robert De Niro hold their own against each other, and just the sparks fly. It's such a good film. It's about a group of professional bank robbers who are they're career criminals, and they're high end, and they rob banks. And then on their latest heist, they accidentally leave a clue, which Vincent Hanna, Al Pacino, picks up, and then he starts chasing the criminals, and that's where the tide comes from, the heat, and you've got the most amazing shootouts and bank heists, and the scene where they're sat down together in the diner is just a masterclass of writing, directing, acting. It's just amazing.
John,
yes.
What do we say?
It not only is it a good Al Pacino film, it has to be one of possibly one of the top 10, 20 films of all time. Just taking into account a lot of classics, it is kind of like the culmination of Michael Mann's career, making films about the criminal underworld. They're not. No one in this film is a cookie cutter. Everybody in this film has a character, even down to Hank Azaria as the slimy Las Vegas bit on the side for Val Kilmer's wife. Everybody is so well sketched. Dennis Haysbert is in it for all of 5 minutes, and he still makes an impression. Val Kilmer's gun skills are actually shown at Navy SEAL College to show how good you can be. This is the level of commitment that went into that film, and Al Pacino as a hardened cop who's almost trying to live a normal life as well, with his wife and his stepdaughter. It's actually almost heartbreaking, because you know that that's what he actually wants to do, but you know he actually needs to be out on the streets helping people, solving crimes. Robert De Niro is, again, he's cold, calculating, with a hint of softness when it comes to Amy Brenneman. It's brilliant. It has to be on the list. This is kind of like a cold hard stamped top 5, so definitely on the list for now.
Matt?
Well, I think you know my answer to this.
No.
This is
Oh, you're here.
This is Michael Mann. Yeah. I mean, I often cry myself to sleep at night knowing that this guy has probably finished his career and he'll never make a film as good as this. And he made as good a film after this, but he's disappeared, and it's really sad. And this film is peerless. It's absolutely magnificent. I cannot understate anything that John said at all. The acting, the filming, the plotting, the scripts. I actually saw LA Takedown first before this. It was another film that was on BBC Two, and this was, for anyone who doesn't know, was the TV movie that Heat is based on, that Michael Mann filmed. Was it maybe sort of 5, 6, 7, even in the late 80s? Am I right? I'm not sure. Maybe the late 80s. with nondescript, non major actors, and this is just incredible. And you guys, I've spoken to you before about A Thief when we were talking about, ironically, Jerry Bruckheimer films, and he produced Thief, and we were saying that was the baby Heat, if you remember, as John quoted saying it was the baby Heat. And it really was. This is his culmination, Michael Mann's culmination. Although there is another Michael Mann film that stars Al Pacino that I love probably equally as much. But this, for the fact that it encompasses everything as a man with testosterone, and with I want to see an action movie, and I want to see an intelligent action movie, and a crime drama thriller, and this has everything. I'd say Natalie Portman at the age of 12, 13 in this.
Yeah,
it was just she was,
absolutely
12, phenomenal, playing a really difficult role.
Was this a second one?
And Al
Second
Pacino. Close to.
Behind the Piano, I think. Yeah.
And I think out of the two roles, Al Pacino actually has the more difficult role, in the fact that he has a relationship that is all supposed to be kind of like almost fully developed, whereas Robert De Niro is looking to move away into that kind of relationship. So for me, it has it all. It has that drama. It has that connection with relationships. It has that insane action, and Val Kilmer, is just phenomenal. He's so quiet in this. That I find it almost quite haunting, considering where he is at the moment with his throat cancer and the fact he can't act anymore. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen his documentary that's come out recently. It's a very good watch.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really good. This movie is insane, and I was very lucky. I went to the cinema to see it. It was brilliant. Loved it. Enjoyed it. It was fantastic. And yes, close to number one. Close, very close, but not quite. But yes, definitely on the top 5.
And I am gonna agree as well. I think Heat is one. It is on my personal top 5 of all time. I think this movie is brilliant. I think the acting from Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Val Kilmer, I think they're all pitch perfect in this movie. I think it's the greatest gunfight ever put to screen. I just think the movie sings all the way through. For me, it is Michael Mann's best film, and I can't see this. For me, it's number 1. I agree with Chris. This is the best movie that Al Pacino has ever been for me. For me, so it's in my personal top 5.
I know that, Paul. I know. You and me have said this many times before. It's an insanely good film, but it is insane.
It is, and so that's 4 yeses. But I don't know if it's going to be 5. Right?
No.
Is it in his top 7?
I wouldn't even put him in my top 15. I think no. I'm serious. I don't know. I think is really overrated. Really overrated.
What you on about?
I'm sorry. I think it's so overrated. I was really excited when I was a kid. When I heard about Heat, and I heard, my God, it's Pacino and De Niro. I was really excited to watch it. And I just think it looks really nice. It looks really nice. The acting's really good from more or less everyone. But do you know what? Like it's kind of stale to me. It's just kind of, there's something about it.
It's a tough one.
Hey, this is how I feel about you people didn't like Scarface, man.
But do you know what? I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from, right?
No.
I mean, it can be quite kind of hard to digest in parts. And I think if you're not into it from the very beginning, or if you're not into it because for whatever reason something's like kind of not connected with you, then it's hard to focus into enjoying.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Like, yeah, I feel exactly when I watch that film. It reminds me of any time I watch, I don't know, almost every Christopher Nolan film, where it's just like his film, Christopher Nolan films as well. They just lack emotion. I don't know.
That's a good comparison.
Very good at
That's a good comparison.
Emotion, I just think they're quite cold films, and I don't know if that's because they're not good at injecting emotion in their films, or I don't know, maybe they just like to underplay the emotion. I don't know, but I just found it, and even the scene in the coffee shop, like I just think it's okay. I just think it's the thing is, right, he's smart, right, that he keeps them apart for the whole film so when you see them, it's like, and they even start the conversation slow, so you are pumped, but like the conversation never really does anything. There's no conflict really. There's conflict, but not really, man. It's like, well, yeah, I'm going to take you down, man, if you step another foot forward. Like, all right, mate, cool. See you later. It's like, okay. The gunfights, yeah, the sound is good, they sound full of, whatever, there's punch to the bullets, whatever. Okay, that's good, I guess, but even the gun scene, the shootout scene in the closed street, like, yeah, it's all right. Like, it's not bad. De Niro's De Niro. De Niro's got the same expression he's had for 30 years. Like the same face. And like it's all right. Like, it's a good film. Like like Val Kilmer's really good in it as well. Danny Trejo's really good in it. Everyone's really good in it. What's his name? Angelina Jolie's dad.
Yeah.
John Voight.
John Voight.
John Voight. Yeah,
John Voight.
Really
But
good.
Mike,
it looks really nice, and I agree with what Matt said. I think Matt said it. Insider's a far better film. Way better film. More tense as well.
He
Insider's really
hinted
good,
at it.
Like, I'd put it.
hey, listen, but Al
don't
Pacino
know.
shot Robert De Niro, so you should be like loving this movie massively.
That's right, man. The better actor won, as always. That's right. No, like, it's good. It's good. But you know what? Like, it's one of the first films I saw of Pacino, and it's one of the least that I've seen afterwards. Like, I just... And you know what it is? People go on about it so much. I feel, well, maybe it's me. So I'll go and watch it again. And I watched it again, like, a month ago? And I was like, yeah, it's good. It's good. Like, I don't think it's as good as Collateral. I don't think it's as good as... even though that shouldn't have been number one on your Tom Cruise list. Shame on all of you.
So hang on. So what would you put in the number one spot there?
For Tom Cruise?
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, go on.
Quickly?
Far and away.
I really like Vanilla Sky and Interview the Man.
Oh,
Vanilla
God.
Sky from a Spanish...
Oh, man.
I love Vanilla Sky. Amazing film.
Abre las ojos.
Guys,
Come on, man.
You guys have no soul inside. There's no romantics here anymore, man. Shame on you. No, I
Well,
don't know.
it's made it anyway, Mike. Sorry.
I know. A shame. But
it's there.
I wouldn't have put Heat in it, to be honest. I'm very sorry, because I know people love that film, and it is probably always in people's top 5. But for me, it's I give it a 3.5 out of 5. A 3 out of 5, something like that. Yeah.
It is the quintessential.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's the quintessential ballad of criminal life, of cops versus robbers. Truly.
It's perfect.
I mean, yeah, like, if someone else directed it, it would have been good.
Well, John, you're there. You're there.
You're giving it to Oliver Stone, would have been all right.
God.
Maybe, not James Cameron, but I don't know. It's all right. Like I said, hey, if I'm at home one day and Titanic's on TV, I might watch it. I'll give it a little watch. Why not?
Okay.
Right. Well, we've got two, Scarface and Heat. John, do you have?
I have no idea, but basically, this is what happened. This is what happened to Tony Montoya when he got out of jail.
Oh, you're picking mine, aren't you?
Did you say?
I was about to say he's picking
Okay,
my one.
Donnie Brasco.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
No. Okay. No. Carlito's Way.
The other one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Carlito's Way. Sorry, man. Because this is a film which I saw back in the early 90s. Basically, I was going to see 15s when I was 12, and then I was watching 18s when I was 15. And this was when I was regularly going to the cinema, going on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons, making days of it. And I sat down to watch this film. The lights went down, the camera went up and round and tilted and swooped, and it was it was such an amazing opening of him on the gurney being wheeled out. Not a spoiler, it's the very first scene of the film. He'd being wheeled out on a gurney and the Steadicam basically starting on his face and then just pulling out in all manner of directions so smoothly. Brian De Palma using his artistry to just design this entire dreamlike shot of him introducing where he is and where it all began. I like the fact that Carlito he's got a history, but we don't need to know it. All we know is he has a history, and he's just come out of jail. He's kind of paid his debt to society, and one of the first things he's done, he's taken by his nephew to a money drop. At which point, it all goes to hell, and he ends up having to bluff his way out of a toilet and get across a pool room and out the door before, as the police sirens are on their way and the other guys are reloading their guns and they're going to kill him, but he's kind of bluffing it because he's using everything he can. They've already killed his nephew, and basically that's it. It's a tale of lost love, found love, trying to get away from it all, trying to go straight. It's Sean Penn in a really disastrous bubble perm, basically paying all his money to Scarface and shoving it up his nose while shagging women in the toilets in the 70s. I think this is whereas with Scarface, it's a so-so performance in a good film. I think that this is a very good performance, a very, very good characterization in a much better, more mature, grown-up film. It still has blood, it still has guts. There are plenty of sex, but I think that Carlito's Way is basically a spiritual sequel to Scarface, and I think this is a much better film. Better made, much better film. Thank you.
Okay. Matt, what do you think of Carlito's Way?
Well, John's basically said everything that I was going to say. Exactly. Down to the comparison with Scarface. It being a similar film, a better film, and his performance in Scarface is great. But Brian De Palma, it just made a beeline to this movie is the culmination of Scarface. Exactly how John put it. I can't put it any better than that. I saw this movie when I was I think I was in college. I saw it a couple of years after it had been released. Again, it was a video rental that I did around the same time, sort of like maybe 94, 95, 96, where I was renting a lot of videos because I was in college and I was coming back on my, my days, my half days or whatever you have in college where you don't work all the day and you come back. I was like, right, I'll rent 2 or 3 movies from the video shop. And there were like movies like Shawshank, there were Carlito's Way, there were The Usual Suspects, all those sort of films, bang in the middle of the 90s. And I saw this, and I'd already seen no, actually, I hadn't seen Scarface before this. I saw this first, and it's a phenomenal film, an absolutely phenomenal film. It's so good. I like the way that Al Pacino is more mature in this. He's more mature. He's an older character than the character that the Scarface guy was, Tony Montana. Carlito Brilante is absolutely, he's world weary. He, again, very much like Heat. He wants to, with the Robert De Niro character, he just, he wants to pack everything in. He wants to move on. It's great acting. Brian De Palma's always been a bit hit miss for me. There's some literally stellar movies that he's made, and there's some been abysmal movies that he's made. And for me, this just blew me away. And I remember seeing the review of good old what's his name on God, what was his name? Come on, the BBC TV guy that used to review stuff. Barry Norman.
Oh,
Barry Norman.
Barry Norman. And I remember him like really like giving it a thumbs up, and that was unusual for Barry Norman. Yeah, great. Sean Penn, fantastic. Probably one of Sean Penn's best roles, and he plays it very well because he could have gone over the top, and he does a little bit. He borders lines that, but he controls it enough that it's very, very good. And I really, spoilers for anyone. Stop spoilers here. That bit where he's in his hospital bed, and I literally when Carlito went outside, and like chucked all the bullets into the bin. I was like, wow, I hadn't seen that come in, and I thought, wow, it's just amazing, really, really good. And I love the relationship that he has with I forget her name now. It's the only one I've written down. I think Penelope Ann Miller.
Yes.
And you've got all those cameos from John Leguizamo. You've got Viggo Mortensen in a very early role.
Yes.
You've got playing Benny Blanco. You've got Luis Guzman, who was he's so good. He's so good at this as Pantanje or Panchanga or whatever his name is. And those scenes that John described, the scene in the pool hall at the beginning with his nephew is absolutely stunning. And do you see the kind of the mirror, the comparison, where you've got Carlito in that toilet with his gun over the old-fashioned toilet, and then you see the Godfather, and then you see the old-fashioned toilet, and he's pulling the gun behind. You see all these mirrors, and it's really good to see. I love it. The music's amazing. You've got Joe Cocker's music at the end. I just can't stop from wanting to bawl my eyes out at the end. And, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it is absolutely phenomenal. Well up there for me, well up there. So, yeah.
So I'm the dissenting voice. This doesn't make his top 7 for me. I remember seeing it and wanting to watch it, and seeing it and thinking it was a good movie, but not a great movie for me. And then when we came round to do this, I was like, I need to rewatch it. Maybe I was too young. I remember seeing it like 16, 17, 18. I must have been when I saw it for the first time. So I rewatched it for this, and it actually reaffirmed it for me. I don't think it's I think it's overrated for me. I think that having watched a lot of Al Pacino movies for this, I think there are a good 7 or 8 movies that I would put above Carlito's Way. For me, I think I've got it at number 9.
That's practically 7. So
yeah. So I think he's very good in it. I think there are a lot of good performances, but I don't think the movie is as engaging as a lot of his other movies. If you were going performance versus movie, maybe it would have made it in there. But I think everything as a whole, it doesn't make it there for me. The scene in the pool hall, I think, is great. Not only is the scene in the bathroom, but where his cousin is murdered, the way he's murdered is the same way as one of the characters in The Godfather as well. Brian De Palma does a homage there as well. So it was a tie in one, and he gets his hand stuck in a box in this one. So yeah, I think there are a lot of good things in it, and I don't think it's a bad movie by any stretch, which says something for Al Pacino. I don't think it's a bad movie, but for me, it doesn't touch his top 7. So it's a no from me, John.
Should be ashamed of yourself as a host. How dare you? For shame. No, I would. It'd probably be. It's probably my top 5 even. Probably my top. Yeah, it is my top 5 for sure. It has to be. It's an amazing film. It's not as good as Scarface. But, right, it's not as good as Scarface. No way, it's not. It's not. Not in any form is it as good as Scarface. But it doesn't have as good a soundtrack. His performance isn't quite as good, even though he's probably top 5 performance. But it's awesome. Like, he is really good. Like he is a bit more subtle, for example, in this than he is in Scarface. I think I know a lot of people. People like to recognize when he shouts in the scene, but I don't know. I think he's maybe shouting in one scene, maybe I can think of in that shootout scene when he's in the bathroom, if that. But it is a lot more nuanced. He does have, I suppose the what would you say? He's got a love story in this as well, and that's part of the reason why he wants to kind of get out of this world. The music's okay. It doesn't grab me as much as it does Matt. It's quite.
You gotta like that.
Find that part of the soundtrack. Other than the ending, yeah. Other than the tune at the end, it's quite dated. I don't think it like Scarface. When the music kicks in, I feel like that really heightens what's going on. It's kind of just there in the background. It doesn't add anything to me. The supporting cast is amazing. Like they have like really small roles, Like you got Morrison and Luis Guzman, you said, and who am I missing? I'm missing someone else. John Leguizamo, who's a rat in it. Like every time I see his face, I just want to. I can feel my chest caving in. It's like I know what's gonna happen. I just want to. I want to punch my TV, but that means he's good. I mean, he's good in it. He's doing his job well.
Those
I've
scenes,
seen the film like 100 times.
Those scenes in the club. Those scenes in the club. The first set scenes where he's like, "I'm going to give you some champagne. I'm giving you some champagne." And he's like, you can feel it building between them, and you can see John Leguizamo is absolutely amazing. He's really, really good.
He is
really good.
He does it perfectly.
Did he do this before Super Mario Brothers or after Super Mario Brothers?
It was after, doesn't it? A couple of years after.
His entire career's been making up for Mario.
That's an underrated film. So you will know. When they square up, they should square up with more scenes together. That's the only shame. I wish they were in more scenes together. Sean Penn for me, I always thought was okay. I don't like acting roles when the actors just kick themselves in makeup and that kind of does half the performance for them. I think like he's okay in it. He does go over the top, I think. But he's fine, whatever. He was doing, he's way more shouty, man. Like, I feel like Sean Penn's over the top in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He does. He's the one-ish, wobble-ish for me. Is Sean Penn?
Yeah, like he's fine. He's fine. But I did. Yeah, no, I do love that film. I still watch it all the time. I would put it in my top 5 even for sure, definitely.
Nice one. Well, John, it has made it.
This is in my top 5.
Agree?
I missed it when it first came out, and it passed me by for years. And then when I realised that, when I found out that I was doing this pod with you guys, I put it on, watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I agree with all the positive points. It's a very nuanced performance. It's the tension that's racked up in so many of the scenes, like the pool scene at the beginning, and then the train, trying to get to the train at the end. It's fantastic. Really, really good film.
I love the big guy. I love the big fat guy.
Sasso.
It's so fun, and he's chasing them. He's chasing them, and he can't walk. He's literally. And I actually looked him up on IMDb, considering that I thought this guy's really heavy, man. Like, surely he's not made it beyond a few years ago. But he's still going, that guy. So he's probably. I love it. Really, really good. Really good.
But Chris is right as well, because like the tension in that film is insane. Because that last scene
in the station,
a bunch of scenes, but like the finale, it's like, I swear it's like over 20 minutes long. Yeah. Like it starts when he gets to the club and he's trying to find his money box or whatever, and the guys are there waiting for him to come out. One of them wants to shoot him in the club or whatever. And like, you feel the tension, all of that scene to like when he runs out the back of the club and like Chris says, like
it's the Godfather, man. It's the Godfather. It's because they don't know. They don't know whether he's responsible for what's happened yet.
Yeah.
And you don't know, and they don't know, and they're like waiting for it. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to go? Is he going to run? Is he going to grab it? Is he going to go? And then he goes for it.
So tense. Even in the station, when he hides on the escalators that going the other way, it's like, oh my god, it's just like I remember my heart just beating the whole time. It's so good, and actually the music there also is really, really good because it does, it's awesome film. Really
the train chase, really well. The sequence took like 8 weeks to film. It was so long, and it was done in the middle of summer, or it went into the summer. and Al Pacino had to keep stopping because he was just exhausted from all of these layers and wearing that leather jacket in the height of summer on these trains.
Wow.
Another film he didn't get nominated for, by the way.
Yeah,
Another
crazy.
film he didn't get nominated
Crazy.
for. It's disgusting.
Crazy.
I don't know. I'm gonna look up who won that year, 1993. I think it was. I don't know who it was, but it was undeserved. Undeserved. Shambles. It's just opinions. It's just opinions.
No, it's true though. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
It is. It is. We have 3 movies. No unanimous selections yet.
I can give you
Matt,
a unanimous
can you
one
give us a 4th
if
one.
you all agree with me.
Are you sure about that? It's been divisive so far.
Oh man, because listen, right,
Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Matt. I'm
Boss
with
did
you.
it. Big Boss did it.
Yes.
Big Boss did it.
right, I'm gonna go straight into the heavy hitter. The heavy hitters, because as I mentioned to you guys earlier on, I'm literally in a position where I've lost all my research. So I'm gonna dive straight in there, and I'm gonna go straight into 1972, and I'm gonna go straight into the Godfather, Godfather 1, the original, the best, but then you can't compare 2 equal, wonderful, brilliant, gorgeous, incredible, insanely amazing top 10 movies of all time. So somebody else can mention Godfather Part 2, but for me, I've always had a special place for the first one because I was a Marlon Brando fan when I was growing up, and I inhaled his movies. You know, from the moment he stepped off stage to make movies, I was an absolute addict. And I watched everything that I could possibly watch. And the Godfather Trilogy was the first VHSs. I think one of the first VHSs that I ever owned. And it was terrible. It was a terrible copy. There were terrible copies. And it was on the behest of my dad. And I'd seen, gangster movies, Italian mafia movies in the past, but I'd never seen the Godfather movies. And I was ashamed, and it was all during this time where I was really kind of burgeoning my love of movies, which I'm sure we can all speak of, and usually it is in that kind of like probably really the quality movies you're stepping into, probably in your mid-teens to late teens, and I was trying as often as I can to get to the cinema. But obviously, I wanted to inhale all the good stuff from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and what have you, whatever I could get my hands on. And The Godfather was one of those movies that, along with Vertigo, my Hitchcock favourite movie of all time, was one of the ones that I bought first on VHS. And it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. It was one of those movies that you very rarely got films that were over 2 hours, 2.5 hours during my early movie watching years. There were very few and far between. So this for me was like a big thing. I put it on and it was like a major thing. I'd get my my popcorn, my snacks, as Mike would say, get my snacks in. And, I get to a point where I'd need some more. Yes. I'd need some more, man. I'd need some more. So, and I'd have to make, because I was lucky enough that I'd had a VHS player 1 year for a birthday present, which I may talk about for another reason. But it was one of those movies that
Chris's face.
Not what you're thinking. Not
what kind of a podcast I walked into here.
Are we talking about the late night films on Channel 4 that you were recording?
No.
My God, Matt. This is why you failed your exams.
It's art.
No blood in your body, mate.
I accidentally recorded the late night Channel 5 film instead. Yeah. Oh no.
For shame.
Anyway, we've all been there.
Let's all be honest here. It was all because of Basic Instinct. So, we'll base on that. So anyway, yeah. So I was lucky enough to have a VHS player, and I was able to watch
To pause it, pause specific scenes.
and to pause those amazing scenes.
For shame. Oh,
How did we descend into this? Godfather?
Bringing it back.
But you know, it's like, do you remember it was HMV, and they used to have 3 for £20 VHS.
Yep.
You get, and that seems a lot of money, but they were literally they were trying to throw them out the door. And they knew. I think they knew that DVD was coming in. They knew before everybody else. Anyway, so I bought this, and I bought the trilogy. It was fantastic. I loved it. And as we all know, and I'm sure everybody out there knows, that The Godfather is the story of the Corleone family, and how they have rose to power through the decades from the early 1900s up until the 1950s. I think this is up to. And you've got Al Pacino. Yeah, Al Pacino as Michael Corleone. You've got Marlon Brando as Vito, Don Vito Corleone, and the pressures and the troubles that they go through to maintain a stable family business, a mafia family business that involves crime, criminals, and also infighting, and the rise of Michael as the youngest son coming through to deal with several different events that happen or occur that are pivotal, which I won't go into too much detail. But you guys know what I'm talking about. The hospital scene with Pacino going to look after his father, and the tension that's produced from that. The scene in the restaurant, the Italian restaurant, where he is having to cope with the outfall of fixing the problem. I'm trying to be as vague as I can without spoiling it. If anyone has never seen The Godfather, shame on you. See it straight away.
shame on you.
See it.
It's free on certain streaming platforms.
Watch it back to back, and you really should watch it back to back with the second and the third. No matter how much you degrade the third, if you watch them back to back. Especially now, you can buy them fairly cheap. The Coppola restoration, they do all three back to back, and you're talking 9 hours or so, and it's well worth it. But I'll try and limit what I'm saying to the decent points. But the acting is phenomenal in it. Marlon Brando obviously won an Oscar for it, in a role that he didn't really accept as one of his best, but is just absolutely insanely good. Al Pacino, I think Al Pacino in The Godfather, I don't think it's his best performance, but I think it's his best set of movies. Right, best set of movies. James Caan, who I love from Thief, I love James Caan. Absolutely, has Sonny with the square shoulders. I look at him and I think someone's got a protractor against this guy's shoulders. He's got such square shoulders. Robert Duvall is absolutely insanely good in this. Diane Keaton, fabulous. Very underwritten women's role in the Godfather movies, unfortunately. A lot of screeching, a lot of kind of hysterics, which is unfortunate because Talia Shire and Diane Keaton are absolutely fantastic in this. Sterling Hayden in The Godfather, the first one, as the Captain McCluskey, and Sterling Hayden as the big-chinned Irish captain is just a phenomenal actor. If you ever get to see him, watch him he's in a few of Stanley Kubrick's movies, very early movies, very, very good. And, you've got all those characters, Luca Brasi, you've got the violence of all the murders that happen in it, that, you could go on and on and on and on. There's so much lore and history and stuff to learn about The Godfather that it's just overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. And everyone talks about the horse's head scene and stuff, and it happens very early on. And when it does, if you've never seen it before, it really does kind of make you just go, what? Just brilliant. I love it. I love Clemenza. I love Tessio. I love all the character actors in it. Just phenomenal. And the fact that they take those special scenes, those important scenes, and Coppola who I do not understand why he made those three amazing movies in the 70s and up to the point of Apocalypse Now, and then he didn't really do much else. I can't understand what happened there. Despite Godfather 3 being all right. Just wonderful films.
So it's me, and the short answer is yes. I've got a VHS story about this film as well. The first time I went to watch The Godfather, it was playing on, I think, ITV. So in the UK, that channel has adverts. So it was on very late at night. So I needed to record it. And I looked at when it started and when it finished. What I didn't realise is that it was on one of those days when we were transitioning between autumn and winter. Between summer and autumn. And the clocks were going back. So I recorded the movie and didn't get all of it because I had a 3-hour VHS tape. And it said it was only 2.5 hours long. It wasn't. The clocks went back and it was 3.5 hours long. So I watched it and I missed the end of it. So I was very, very disappointed my first experience with The Godfather, because I was loving it. I later did watch it, and yes, it is a masterpiece of a film. When we were doing, I watched it, and I've watched the second one, and I had never seen the third movie, probably because of the disdain that it does have around it. So when we were decided Mike picked this topic for us, I decided to watch them all, and I watched them all back to back, much like Matt suggested there. For me, part one is the strongest of the trilogy, but I think part 3 is a good movie as well. It is a very good movie. I think that all of them hold up, and I think all of them are very worthy. It tells a very, very good story arc over the 3 films. But for me, this is the best. For me, it's Al Pacino's second best film. And yeah, so
it's not bad. It's not a bad film. No, man. God, you know what? Yeah, the first time I watched it, I think I watched it over like 2 or 3 days. It's a long ass film, and I was tired. I think it was the summer. I was shattered. And I was young. I was really young, so I don't know if I had the patience for it. But I still loved it. And like Matt, I was, like a fanatical Marlon Brando fan. Like fanatical. Like I watched everything that guy did. Had like multiple biographies of him. Even then. I used to read all about his time at like acting, in drama school, acting school, and like the exercises he would do, and his method acting, of course. Like I was just so consumed of everything Marlon Brando. But by this point, I think Al Pacino had already become my favorite actor, even above Marlon Brando. So like to watch them both in that film is I think that's the one I've got. Yeah. That might be it. Yeah, that guy's incredible. There's stories. I think it's in that one. There's stories where he's in drama class, and I think they had a an exercise where they were supposed to be. I think the teacher asked them to pretend to be chickens, and that there's bombs being dropped around them, and so like all the students were basically just rushing around pretending to be chickens, like crazy, making crazy sounds or whatever. And he was just sat in the corner, and the teacher's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm a chicken. I don't know what a bomb is." And I thought that's a dude, man. Like what a dude. But like the film is so much about Al Pacino and De Niro, like father and son, and like there's so many stories, like and there's examples of this and this as well. But you hear things about Marlon Brando, like in on the waterfront, how he improvised scenes. And there's that scene where he's walking with, I can't remember the actress's name, and she drops her glove, and they just carried on shooting. And he picked it up, and he started. I think he puts on her glove to kind of show his feminine side, right? And so he would do stuff like that in The Godfather. That's the whole thing of him smelling the rose and and playing with the cat and that kind of stuff that shows his more sensitive side to being, the leader, of a mafia family. So there's so much in the acting. It just takes my breath away. But like the scenes he has with Al Pacino, especially at the end, when he's kind of regretting the life that he's now going into, And like you can just see like the despair in him and his voice and his face. But Al Pacino, like the acting, it's probably his top 3 best acting roles. You know, this is always the example I use when I would talk about DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street. When I would say that not since Al Pacino in this have I seen someone's performance that's so gradual that you can't, and they become 2 different people by the end, that you can't even tell where in the film it happens. Like it's so gradual. It's not like just apparent one scene, someone's died and now they've changed. It's just so gradual. And Al Pacino, you can see it, like it's really gradual, but you know it's in the scene in the restaurant. But where he has to kill those 2 guys. But the thing is, obviously the scene is incredible, right? Where they use is it the kettle or the train? I think the passing train. They used to like build the tension. But like you can see in his eyes what he's about to do. That's the thing. Is like the guy is acting with his eyes alone. Like it's like when I watch it, it's like I could almost hear. It's almost like he's got dialogue, and I'm inventing it in my head because I can see it in his eyes. You know, it's like
you can hear what he's saying, can't you? In his own head,
you can hear what he's saying. It's just like incredible, you know. And then when you see him the first time in the film, when he sat with Diane Keaton at the wedding, and he's like this kind of really shy, almost not embarrassed, but just just completely different from his family. You know, he's got a different life, and you know, he accepts his family for what they are, but that's not him. You know, he kind of just puts it aside. And then to the last scene where he's got Diane Keaton in the doorway, and he just slams. Well, doesn't say he just shuts the door.
It's just him in the door. It's him sat in the door.
That's it. And you just see the look in his face. He's just, and they do a similar thing in the end of Godfather 2 when he's just sat there on the chair outside. You know, and the leaves are falling, and he just close up on his face. You know, and it's just. He's just incredible. I think he's 32 at this point in that film. And like to be able to do a performance like that at that age with Marlon Brando, you know, who's along with Duval and James Caan, they didn't want him at all. You know, they were going to get rid of him. It was that scene in the restaurant.
Didn't want him.
No, they wanted Robert Redford.
They didn't want him. He wasn't a name.
It's like a Sicilian.
The old American boy.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Shocking. But the music's still so iconic, you know. And I still think I was talking to someone about this the other day actually when. You guys know him, Ali. We always argue about De Niro and Pacino, and we were arguing about Godfather and Goodfellas. And I was saying, you know what? Like I feel like with every passing decade, Godfather ages better than not Casino, sorry, Goodfellas.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that.
Well, I said it. I said it already. It's too late. You should have said it first, Matt. You had your time. But no, I do. I think it's just like because it's so common. You know, the time that it's shot in and where it's meant to be. It's just it almost becomes richer. You know, with every passing year to look at that time period. And I say it with 2 as well. 2, I used to go back and forth. You know, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I think now just I settle. Even though I love Pacino's performance in 2. And I do love the going back and forth to the time periods. It's so magical. Like when you and the way they use the transitions into, you know. But it's Brando just elevates it to above 2 for me. So I would put it. I'd have Godfather 1 as my number 2 for sure. That's what I think about it.
Okay.
Okay, so
Chris,
here's the thing.
agreeing?
If we were doing a Marlon Brando top 5, then The Godfather Part 1 would potentially be my number 1 pick. It would definitely be in the top 3 for sure. But we're not. We're doing Al Pacino. And Al Pacino, Godfather Part 2 is Al Pacino's film. So for that reason, I can't pick Godfather Part 1. It's not in my top
Chris,
9.
It's not in the top 9! Chris, can I say, what other actor in the first Godfather, other than Marlon Brando, commands the screen or has as much screen time as Al Pacino does than anybody else? Even James Caan, no. Robert Duvall, no. It's Al Pacino for the second half. It's Marlon Brando for the first half. You've got to agree that they have equal screen time.
It's no, I'm sorry. It's part 2's in my list.
Fair.
Wow.
And I think
Matt is like, you've got to agree. Chris is like, no.
Okay. I'm liking this because we haven't had a
Yeah.
unanimous
but
vote
Chris,
yet.
not in your top
It's maybe,
9.
though, because it's got three.
Have you got
three
Dick
votes.
Tracy above it?
Because
John?
He does.
Tracy
He
was
does.
10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back to the Godfather.
It's because I didn't think I couldn't have both 1 and 2
Yeah.
separately on the list.
How can you really?
that's why.
I'd have them back.
Yeah. I don't think that's
They're
fair,
literally
really.
like back to back.
I just couldn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
To be
quite, mate,
honest,
not
I've
quite.
got all 3 in my top 7.
There's a massive.
3 is underrated.
Yeah.
3 is underrated.
It is
Three,
underrated,
yeah.
but I don't
Yeah.
think it's in the 7.
I agree.
Anyway,
Not in
Yeah,
this
I
list.
agree.
Not in this
It
list.
is number
I
7.
agree.
Not in this
But-
list. No. It's a good film, but not in this.
I basically, I'm kind of
John.
with the adage that the original is the best. I think there are two people. There are 2 people in this film. One is Marlon Brando. The other is Al Pacino. Everybody else does a very good job at supporting them too. It's a very long film, but the film is carried by Marlon Brando and Al Pacino. I think that this is. I actually think this is the better film because actually, I don't think that Robert De Niro actually invests. I don't think the early days of Don Vito actually works that well. It doesn't. It tells the story, but it's not. It's not as well rounded. It doesn't work as well as kind of like as Michael rising up into his role and Don Vito handing over the reins. I think that the first one is actually the best of the 3, and I think it should be on the list.
Godfather Part 2 is the first ever sequel to be
There we
nominated
go.
for Best Picture.
That's
Is
4 films.
Isn't it still
Just
the
throw
only
that in
sequel that's
there.
won? Isn't it still the only sequel that's won Best
is
Oscar?
true. That
Best
is
film.
true.
Return of the
It won
King.
Best Film. But...
There's only 4.
Oh, did it? Boo!
that-
Oh.
There's only 4. There's The Godfather
Well,
2. There's
Return of the
Aliens.
King one, yeah.
There's Terminator 2, and there's the Return of the King. Well, is that included? No, forget that one. Anyway, they're not Al Pacino. Sorry,
Anyway.
yes, Al Pacino.
No,
Goddamn right.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We've got 4 films. Finally, round to me. We've got
Godfather 3.
3 of. Well, no. It's there. But I'm
I know
going
what
to go.
Paul's going to go for. I know what he's going to go for.
Yeah, film.
Revolution.
Film.
Coffees for closers.
No, not quite, John. I'm going to go for a story about an FBI agent named Joe Pistone who goes undercover as Donnie Brasco. I think this movie is excellent. It's in my top 3 of Al Pacino. He plays Lefty to a T. He is completely the opposite gangster character to Michael in The Godfather. He's this useless gangster in many ways. He's the one that nobody really trusts. But he's there enough to vouch for Johnny Depp as Donnie Brasco, to bring him in to this criminal underworld. And he's an undercover FBI agent who falls into this world perfectly. He lets his marriage slip because of it, and he emulates everything in it. I think it's Johnny Depp's best role. I think the film.
Wow.
You what, mate?
I've never heard a
Best role.
I've never
I
heard a
think
collective
Johnny-
intake of breath so
Back
so
off.
hard.
Back off.
What?
He is
I think it's Johnny
damn
Depp's best role.
cool in it, though. He is so cool.
He is brilliant in this.
He is.
I mean, he's done a lot of good work with Tim Burton, but I think that Johnny Depp
Edward
is brilliant in
Scissorhands.
this. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think Jack Sparrow is better than that. Sorry.
So,
So disgusting.
And he got nominated for an Oscar for Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, he should have. He should have. God bless you.
Disney were
So-
paying the Oscar.
so anyway,
But I love Donnie Brasco. I think the supporting cast around Al Pacino and Johnny Depp are great. I think Anne Hesh is brilliant as his wife. I think Sonny Black being played by Michael Madsen is menacing and terrifying. I think I without giving the movie away, it's about an undercover FBI agent going into the mob and trying to bring down from inside, getting as much dirt as possible. The scene in the Chinese restaurant or Japanese restaurant, because I can't remember which one it was, Japanese, I think,
Japanese.
where it was Japanese, wasn't it? It is perfect. It is a way of him trying to hide his undercoverness, and I think everybody should check out Donnie Brasco. Mike, Donnie Brasco?
Oh man, of course. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna put it. I will put it in my top 7. Yes, yeah, it's funny. Like, I mean, obviously for this, I think we all watched a bunch of Al Pacino films together. We've probably seen many times, and I've seen Donnie Brasco more than most other Al Pacino films because it was always probably in my top 5. And like you say, this is why I always say to people when they say Pacino just plays gangsters. And I was like, how dare you? Like, if you look at him in Godfather, even Godfather 2, Carlito's Way, Donnie Brasco, what's the other one I'm missing? Scarface. How dare me? He is nothing alike. They're all gangster roles. He's nothing alike in any of them. And The Irishman, actually. Nothing alike. Not even close. I don't have to bring him into this. But De Niro, I'm telling you, you got Goodfellas and Casino. It's like they just cut him out of Goodfellas and just put him in Casino. Copy and paste. But this dude, every single gangster one, he's just completely different. And in Donnie Brasco, he's just, oh God, he's so, like you say, he's like this stumbling mess, but he's so cocky and arrogant at the same time. And he's every, like, the guy's tragic, he's funny, he's perfect with Johnny Depp. You can see they got such amazing chemistry in that film. And like, he's got so many lines in that film. Like, me and my brother loves that film, and we still quote it all the time, And like, I'm trying so hard not to quote him now. I don't do impression, but he's so good. And the fact that it's a true story as well adds to the drama. If you've read the book, it's incredible. Like, everything that went on, the fact that this thing was meant to last. I think this operation was meant to last 2 months, and it lasted years. The only thing I will say about it, and I've only thought about this the very last time I watched it, which I think was on the night shift, because there was someone who hadn't seen it.
It was with me.
Was it with you? Oh, I think we said that. Oh, so
Yeah.
you know what I'm about to say then. Is that
Yes.
it hasn't aged quite as well as as I remember. Like, it to the this is gonna sound horrible, but I've got to say it. But I think I said this with Chris. Parts of it almost. Dropped a line. Part of me thinks it just looks like a TV. It comes across more like a TV film, like a straight to TV film almost. Like the music, especially the music. The music's actually quite off-putting. It's quite jarring, and it lacks a lot. It seems, I don't want to say cheap. I don't know what it is. It's quite basic, and but together with the I don't know, up against like the quality of the acting and the script, and I guess and you know what it is actually? It's because a lot of scenes it's supposed to be very tense, right? They're in the middle of like drug deals are happening, or there's scenes where where Johnny Depp is trying to hide his what do you call it, his ID, and they have almost it's not comical music, but it's quite hammy music. It doesn't go with the tension it's trying to come across as. So I was quite shocked by that the last time I watched it. Everything else is still amazing. The acting's really good. Although Michael Madsen, I'm not overly, I don't know, I find him quite almost caricaturish in his role. But again, like, for me, This is why I say the same thing with Scarface. I do feel like the acting is so important to me, and that for me will elevate a film, and that that will make a film will put a film high up on my list. And Pacino in that role is just so iconic that I have to put it in my top 5. It's a really, really, well, my top 7 anyways. I don't know if I put it in my top 5, but I'd have to put it in the list, I think. Yeah. But it's not. I just don't rate it quite as highly as I used to.
Okay.
So I watched it for the first time with Mike recently, and we made the same observations that despite its 35 million budget, it doesn't feel like it. I agree that it should be in the top 5. It's in my top 5, but the one thing, the two things that kind of bring it down are the TV movie feel of it, and the really inappropriate music. It's just, it stands out really badly. But those minor things aside, it's a really good film.
I had
John?
this in my DVD collection. I've been given it by someone years ago, and it just kind of sat there. And when Mike said he wanted to do Al Pacino, I suddenly found it in the bottom of my DVD box. I like it. I'm not entirely sure if it's definitely a very good two very good performances, in fact, but I don't think it quite hangs together as a total. And so it's kind of just outside of my 7. So,
okay, Matt, it's made it. We've got 3 yeses. Would have you been a 4th?
Do you know what? I'm on the fence of this one because I do love it, but I'm going for like a top 7, a top 5 here, and it makes my top 7, but it doesn't make my top 5. So I do love this movie immensely. I really, really do. And I understand what you're saying about what you feel that the TV kind of, the lower budget, where did the money go to, kind of, But then I'd put to you, if you ever seen The Wire, you watch the TV show The Wire, you've got an incredible crime, gangster, drug kind of thriller. And I don't think quality necessarily matters in terms of cinematics. When you've got great acting, great scripting. For me, that doesn't really matter. As long as they don't go completely kind of like, why on earth did they do that? Or why on earth did they do that? For me, it doesn't really matter. I just think the performance by Al Pacino is so different from what he has ever done before or ever did up to that point, for me, was so great. He played a loser, basically at the end of the day. He played a guy who was so wanting to be in the main mafia that he could never quite make it, and he knew that. But people didn't. They respected him a little bit. He thought they respected him more than they should do, and they didn't really. And it was a very sympathetic, very sad character, very Shakespearean in that way. And I loved it for that fact. And I think it's one of my favourite Al Pacino performances. Again, not his best, but I would say it's probably up there to The Godfather. And you look at him in The Godfather, and you look at him in Donnie Brasco, like 35 years later, and you can see how phenomenal an actor this guy is to evolve to such a position, to such a place, and that can give us those sort of roles. And yeah, I mean, you look at it and you think, well, in the same sort of decade, he did Glenn Ross, earlier than that, and he played a character that was all cocksure and all kind of, and then he plays this old geezer who's, he's kind of past it. Fugazi, forget about it. And forget about it. And for me, that entered.
Calling me a Domsky.
Yeah, it entered the lexicon, didn't it? Entered the great scheme, the great, the vocabulary of the planet, really. The lexicon. It's a phenomenal performance, and I know we're saying, is this the best Al Pacino movie we're doing, or is this the best performance of Al Pacino? And for me, this is a fairly decent mix of the both. So for me, I'm really struggling, to be honest. How many have we got on so far, Paul? 4?
We've got 5. We've got 5 because
Okay.
this
Well,
has
I'd
made it
say
to 3
yes then,
votes
yeah.
already. So, yeah. So we have 5. We have 5. All 5 nominations. First time round have been gone through. So, Mike, back round to you, mate. Can you give us a 6th?
Yes, I can. Oh god, I'm just torn between 2. One is, a classic. The other one, I don't think anyone's going to pick, but I'm going to pick the other one because I'm pretty sure the other one's going to get picked anyway. I think the other one's going to get picked. I don't know. Yeah, I don't care. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Scent of a Woman. I don't care what you all say. I'm going to say Scent of a Woman.
Good man.
I don't care, Matt. You put your head in your hands. I don't care. I'm going to call in sick tomorrow. No, I don't care. I was going to say Godfather 2, but I feel like someone's going to pick that. And if you don't, shame on you. Matt, come back. And,
Mikey, tell us about it.
No, Yes, I'm going to tell you about it. So, Scent of a Woman, it's basically about a retired, just general? Was he a general or soldier? Who was blinded during an accident with a friend in a war. Although it was his fault, wasn't it? He
was juggling grenades.
Was foolish and had an he was juggling grenades and had an accident and he blinded himself. And so now, years later, he's being looked after by his daughter and son-in-law, and he's got like a very, very bitter old man, and he's got almost like a secret mission to himself, which is kind of, I don't know, I'll spoil it. He basically there's a list of things he wants to kind of do before he dies, let's just say. And so at the same time, there's this young student, Christopher, what's his name? Robin. I forgot that. What's his name?
Chris
O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. Robin.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he played Robin, didn't he?
Yes.
He played Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, he did. And so he basically, to make money, is paid to look after him for the weekend. And on that weekend, they basically get up to stupid shenanigans. They visit different cities and drive cars around New York and all kind of crazy stuff. But to me, the film is fine. The film is good. I feel like people just walk past this film because they think it's just a good performance and that's it. But the film it's a touching film, and even Chris O'Donnell is good in it. He's this really unconfident guy, poor student who's relying on his grades to graduate. And what's happened is these other kids have pulled a prank on the headmaster, and it's like a very prestigious, posh school, and they take things very seriously. They have like their own little mini court, and in trying to find out who's done it, he's kind of being put into the blame, and he's threatened with not graduating unless he kind of rats out who did the prank. And so he's kind of got this in his mind the whole time he's looking after Al Pacino, and Al Pacino's kind of trying to stiffen him up, become, a more confident guy. But it's basically about their relationship, and Al Pacino almost dealing with the fact that he feels useless now, and he feels he can't really enjoy life anymore, and he's, regretting the situation he's in. But it's the film that won him an Oscar, so I want to put it in there. And I do feel like his performance just super elevates this film. Like, I remember watching it for the first time, and I was blown away. Like, I remember I watched it, and the very next day, I made my mum watch the film, and then I made my brother watch the film. Like I went through like a period, like a week, where I was just making everyone watch this film. And I was just like, look at this role. Like, I just could not believe how good he was in it. And I read all the backstory of how he spent weeks or months, researching and studying, blind people and all this kind of stuff, and I think he messed up his vision, didn't he? Like
the scene where he fell over in a bush, he scratched his eye.
Yeah. And so, but I just remember just every scene in that film is just it's a killer, man, because you can see the pain in this guy. Even behind the humor, you can tell the guy's just desperate to end his life. Like he's just done. He feels useless. He used to be, a guy in the middle of everything. Really courageous, and now he just feels useless. And so his relationship with Chris O'Donnell is just incredible. And then the monologue at the end, he defends him in this court in school, and he's got that really famous monologue where he just goes on for like 15 minutes. And but it's just incredible. Like, you know, it's a really varied role. He gets a lot of rubbish, I think, like, you know, for like, you know, hoo-ha and all that kind of stuff, you know, and memed out of it and whatever. But like, it's a very, very nuanced, very rolled, and like Godfather, I put it in my top 5 roles. But I'm going to include the film because it's the film that finally won him the Oscars after I think 7 or 8 nominations at the time. And at the time, I thought it was the best piece of acting I'd ever seen, ever. So I've got to put it in my top 7. Got to.
Chris, Sensible Woman.
Oh, Mike, I really wish you'd gone for Godfather Part 2.
I was going to go for Godfather Part 2.
So, ashamedly, this is one of 2 films that I have not seen, which I'm pretty sure would get nominated tonight. So I can't vote because I've not seen it. Sorry.
Yes, this should be on the list. It's such a change of gear. It's Martin Brest's probably his last good film before Jiggly. It's a story with real heart. Al Pacino as the grizzled old git, and the young guy who's wrestling with his morals, and who needs the help to find his way. The bit in the Ferrari is amazing. The bit on the dance floor is amazing, and the last scene in the hotel room is so good. Yes, this should be on the list.
Matt, are you going to give it a third?
No. Sorry. Do you know what? Look, I view this as a bit of a Dead Poets Society, where I look at it like a Robin Williams kind of, you know, where everyone should love the film, and in reality, I don't think it's that good. I think the script isn't good enough. You know, Al Pacino is brilliant in it. Obviously, you know, he's brilliant. He's a brilliant actor. There are very, very, very few films that he's absolutely amazing in. But as a movie as a whole, again, you were talking about like the movies that you thought were perhaps kind of like TV quality movies, and this for me is just a proper Hallmark Channel movie. I just don't like it at all. Sorry.
So disgusting.
So that's 2 yeses and 2 nos, Mike. You're left with me, and unfortunately,
God
mate.
damn it, man. Oh, we're Mr. Paul.
Well, no, actually, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat as Chris.
Oh, that's even worse.
Never seen it. I've never seen it. I'm really sorry.
Does that mean what does that mean? Like, do I pick another one?
No. It doesn't make it.
Oh, that's not friend.
It's only got 2 yeses. I'm sorry. So yeah.
Told you, Mike. Rules.
I'm sorry. So Sensible Woman is the first movie that doesn't make our initial list.
Hold on.
It's so good, though. It is so good. It is really good. This is the problem.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
He has a lot of quality.
Yeah, I mean, look, right. Okay, quick. You can't see. I've got 15 movies on there, and every one of them could be in the top 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is no one gonna pick Any Given Sunday? I feel sick.
Next one.
Hang on.
Oh.
You got to wait and see. But it's Chris next. Chris.
Mr. Chris.
Right, we're tight for time, so I'm not going to pitch it. I'm just going to say Godfather Part 2. Yes or no?
What?
Sound like a threat.
It's for the last spot, and this is the problem.
It's not.
Again,
We've only got 5. We've got 5.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Matt. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for the podcast. Yes.
I'm saying yes. That's made the list. Mike, Godfather Part 2.
Yeah, it has to. It's incredible film. Incredible film.
It is. So, Chris, with your one-word nomination, The Godfather Part Two is filled in at spot 6. So, John, this is for the last spot. So, John, what would you like to nominate at number 7?
Oh God, because
It's right next to you, John. It's right next to you.
I watched Insomnia.
Oh, good film.
And I really liked it. And I know the inside. I know what everyone feels about the Insider. And oh man, and Glenn Ross is great because it's such toxic masculinity boiled down into 90 minutes.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah, it's Dog Day Afternoon.
Hang on, just let him choose.
Not Serpico.
Hang on, Chris Murray. How long do you have?
It's all right. I'm going to go because as much as Any Given Sunday is interesting, I don't like the Oliver Stone messing with the fantasy bits in it. So I'm going to have to go with The Insider, the story about the man who broke the 60-minute story on the tobacco industry, faking all of its research on it being safe, and Russell Crowe being the one guy who would come forward and say that he was the one guy who would come forward and actually say that they were wrong and that they were corrupt, and that and the lack of moral fortitude that I think it's CBS had not to wimp out at the last minute and not nail the tobacco companies to the wall. Again, it's another Michael Mann. It is brilliant. The fact that it starts with Al Pacino being taken to a secret rendezvous with an I think it's an Al Qaeda leader, Hamas, with a bag over his head, so he can arrange an interview for 60 minutes. It is one of those films which it doesn't necessarily start with tension, but it all ranks up, and just the complete deflation of the end. I think this should be. I think this is one. I think in the same way as Donnie Brasco is about an insider in the mob, this is kind of like an insider in the tobacco companies. I think this is a good film. Go for it.
The Insider.
Oh my god, John's put me in a really difficult position because he's picked the one movie that I love most out of anything that is on this list, like even The Godfather. This for me, The Insider, was one of my favourites of my formative years. You know, growing up, I remember I did a course in university that was media based. It was also acting based at the same time. We had a lot of people who were really into movies, and that's kind of what drew me to the whole thing in the first place. And they were all going on about, like, Michael Mann, you've got to go and see The Insider. We all got tickets at the newly built Manchester, the Triangle in Manchester. Yeah. Manchester. And the first movie that was playing on that for that year was The Insider, Michael Mann's The Insider. And I went to see it, and it blew me away. The fact that it was just based on this telephone conversation that was in an American magazine. I don't have my notes with me. I had it all written down. I can't remember exactly, but it was all based on these telephone conversations. That none of this ever happened other than the actual vocal conversations, and it was phenomenal. But my problem is there's only one spot. And there's a bet. Are we voting for the best?
Well, there's a
Al Pacino
Black Hawk Down nomination. If we all agree on something, we can.
Well, I'm voting second after John, so I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote tactically and say no, even though this is one of my favourite films of all time.
Oh,
Sorry. There's a better film. There's a better film.
I have to say no because I had Carlito's way higher, and I've already said no to that.
Oh, somebody else has to say yes, though. It's got to get on there. Come on.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good film, but I rate a lot of Michael Mann's above it. Mike, the Insider.
Inside it's like Heat, but good. But
and the music is insane. It's so good.
Take that, Michael Mann. No. But man, I love it as well. But I'm not gonna put it. I'm not gonna put it higher than Godfather 2 or in Any Given Sunday. I love it. You know what irony is? After this podcast, I'm probably gonna watch it. But I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it is my number 7. So yes, it would have been a yes for me.
The Insider hasn't made it. Matt, go on.
Okay, I'll be really quick. 1975. This is Al Pacino's best performance. It's never been better, ever. Not even The Godfather. It's a Dog Day Afternoon. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal movie. You cannot better that movie. It was ahead of its time. It was. It had so many different actors in it that you've seen to go on to do bigger, better things. Sidney Lumet is brilliant. It's better than Serpico. It stood hands and shoulders above those two. It's just phenomenal. What's his name? Is it John Cazale? John Cazale, who sadly died quite early on in his life from lung cancer. Incredible actor. Could have gone on to do it. Yeah. He's got like 4 films that are just the best film. Deer Hunter,
Godfather, The Conversation.
Yeah, three films with.
I think Dog Day Afternoon is Al Pacino's peerless performance and will never be better. I think his performances in the 70s are absolutely stunning. But for me, for what it was, for an hour and 45 minutes, you cannot get a better performance ever from any actor ever. And I'm saying that, no hyperbole, no actor has ever performed better in any movie than Dog Day Afternoon.
I don't even agree, but he still said Pacino's the best actor. Yes, of course. Yes.
Best performance ever I've ever seen.
You need to get that, Paul. Make into a trailer for this podcast. That's it. God bless. No,
Mikey, don't start making me work.
Go on, Mr. John. What are we talking about? Best actor of all time, says Matt Hines.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Matt. I don't have it in my top 7.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there because it is a great movie. It's definitely a great movie. But again, I had Carlito's way above it and I said no to that. So, Mike?
God, this is the one that's on the line for me. It's like... The thing is, I really want Any Given Sunday. I really like Any Given Sunday.
I'm not going to say
yes. It's not going to go in though. I love Mike. I love these guys know I love Any Given Sunday. It's just I've got a big story which we haven't got time to talk about.
But if I vote Any Given Sunday, you vote Any Given Sunday. What would Chris Murray say? We don't know.
No. But Any Given Sunday is not better than Dog Day Afternoon for me. That's my point.
All right, I'm going to say yes because I'll say yes because. It is an incredible film. Like you say, it's groundbreaking. You know, the fact that the story revolves around him basically robbing a bank to pay for his boyfriend's sex change operation, isn't it? Which back then, I think in the 70s, especially, was like super controversial. Super controversial. The whole Attica scene, of course, just improvised. Well, I say improvised. Someone told him someone gave him the idea to do it, to shout that out in that scene. The whole scene is really tense, and unlike a lot of films from the 70s, it's still the pacing is still really good. It's really, really well paced. Like you say, it does see every time I watch it just goes by really quick. It is super tense, and and his performance is amazing because it is like he's really timid in so much of the film, and then he just explodes, when he has to, But it's not even like when he explodes, it's not like in a show of arrogance or confidence. He's just like He's like a scared animal, you know, when he kind of just blows up like that, you know. So it is incredible.
Can I say that this was after The Godfather? This was after The Godfather Part Two.
Yeah.
And so you can see his performance is just. I mean, I'll say it again: best performance of any actor in any movie ever. Dog Day Afternoon.
He has a way as well. Like he does it in so many films where, like, he's in scenes that are so tense, but he has a way of delivering lines and making like slight comedy out of it, you know, and just being really good at stuff like that. He's done that in just so many films, but he does that in, you know, I can't think of any examples now, but I just remember a bunch of scenes with him and with John Cazale. Thank you. Yeah, they have a lot of scenes together that are just, you know, quite funny, quite poignant. But I'd say yes. Then I'd say yes.
Okay, Chris, are you going to give it that vote?
So unfortunately, this is the other film on the Pacino list that I've not seen or didn't get time to see, and I know that it's one of his best films, and I need to watch it. So unfortunately, I can't vote on it.
John?
I can, and I say yes. It's the only other 70s film I probably rank high. So
nice one. All right.
There you go.
Just very, very quickly, any film that we haven't mentioned that you think deserves to go on there? Mike?
Damn right. Yes. Any Given Sunday. 100%. That needs to go on there. Devil's Advocate. In fact, I'm going to put Devil's Advocate above it. I'm going to say Devil. Oh, why did I say Devil's Advocate? I would have said that. Oh, okay, it was too late now. But that's another role he didn't get nominated for. He should have got nominated for.
We got one spot.
If everybody agrees,
we have to agree.
Four of us agree on a film, it can go in there as the 8th spot.
So pick one.
Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate. Chris?
Did I say why?
Insomnia.
John?
Insomnia.
Matt?
Sorry, Mike. Insomnia.
But it's not going to make it because I'm going to be honest, and the film that I would have nominated next would have been Glengarry Glen Ross. I don't rank Insomnia that high. I actually put it down as Christopher Nolan's weakest.
No.
And the reason why...
Man, did you watch Tenet? Look at Tenet. Oh, that was...
I like Tenet. Shut up, boy.
I like Tenet like I like Gone Off Weetabix, man. Like, that was a...
The reason why I don't like Insomnia is that I think Insomnia would have worked a lot better as a whodunit, rather than knowing who the villain is from the very beginning. That's why I don't rank it as high. That's just me. It's not a bad film, which says something for Christopher Nolan. But for me, that's why I don't rank it as high.
But the original film, the original Swedish film, funnily enough, with Stellan Skarsgård, was that's how it was rated.
Yeah, just for me, that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. So that's why it doesn't make it. Well, we have our 7 guys. We have Scarface, Heat, Carlito's Way, Godfather 1 and 2, Donnie Brasco, and Dog Day Afternoon. Of those 7 movies, Mike, which is least deserving?
Least deserving? Heat. 100%.
Chris?
Because I've not seen it, Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah. John?
Scarface.
Oh, my God.
Matt?
Yeah, same.
Scarface.
Oh, my God.
And for me, it's Dog Day Afternoon. So... Of all of those movies, Mike, you're the outline vote.
It's Mike.
Mike, you've got to decide what goes: Scarface or Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, damn it! I was going to say Heat. I was like,
hang on a minute. Doesn't he have to choose another one?
No. He's because he's the outlying vote. So there's 2 votes for Scarface, 2 votes for Dog Day Afternoon. So he's the.
What did Mike vote for?
He voted for
Heat.
Oh, fuck.
Mike, which goes between Scarface and Dog Day?
Well, we know what's going there.
Kick that dog out of here, man. Kick that dog out of here, man. This dog's only for Christmas.
John and Matt's votes, because I've got everybody else's.
We said Scarface,
You
mate.
said Scarface. Matt
No,
said
it's me,
Scarface.
you and me voting now.
Mike's gone Heat, so Chris.
So just run me through the list again, then, please.
Scarface, Heat, Carlito's Way, Donnie Brasco, and both Godfather 1 and 2.
Oh, the insider didn't make it.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
He's so upset.
Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco for Chris. And I would have voted Carlito's Way, which means, Mike, I'm really sorry, mate. With 2 votes, Scarface has gone off.
Oh my god, this is... I want people to know, these people work at the man. They're supposed to know about films, man. Should be ashamed of yourselves, man. Except for you, Chris. God bless you as always, my friend. Unbelievable. Scar... I
We
have
have our
nothing
top
to do with this.
5 Al Pacino movies.
Wait, you're telling... Oh no, hold on a second. You're telling me he is in the top 5 and Scarface is not in the top 5? You're out of your
Yes.
mind, man. Be ashamed of yourselves.
Carlito's Way, The Godfather, Donnie Brasco, and The Godfather Part 2.
Donnie Brasco is above Scarface.
5.
Yeah, what's that about?
So,
TV movie!
Mike, I'm guessing you're voting Heat as your weakest.
Yes.
I voted Carlito's Way. Chris has voted Donnie Brasco. So, John, what's
Donnie Brasco.
number 5? And Matt?
Yeah, unfortunately, I love it, but Donnie Brasco's got to go.
Donnie Brasco is our number 5. Mike and me have voted. So, Chris,
Carlito's Way.
Carlito's Way. John?
Oh, God. Godfather Part 2.
Oh my lord.
Matt?
I'm calling in sick.
So, what are
I'm
we
calling
doing
in
here?
sick.
Are we? Yeah, no, are we doing?
Heat, Carlito's Way, and both Godfathers.
Go with your gut, man.
Godfather Part 2.
Oh my lord. I feel ill.
Matt, Mike, you get to do it again, mate.
That's what she said.
What goes at number 4? The Godfather Part 2 or Carlito's Way?
Oh, F my life. Are you serious? Oh, God. God, I feel sick. Heat is going to be above one of these. I can't believe my eyes, man. Okay.
Dude, I had to do E.T. and Indiana Jones. I mean, seriously.
Go with your gut. Go with your gut.
Okay.
Carlito's Way or Godfather Part 2?
I'm gonna say Carlito's Way.
Carlito's Way goes in at number 4.
Okay.
Oh God.
There's no losers.
Godfather Part 2 from Matt and John. I've got Heat from Mike. Chris?
Godfather Part 1.
Godfather Part 1. And it's me. And I'm going Godfather Part 2. So Godfather Part 2 is our number 3.
Wait. What got chucked out? Godfather Part 1?
Me and John had already voted for it. You see, that's why.
So the top 2 movies are The Godfather and Heat.
I can't believe I can't.
You're
believe
number
that's a
1, Mike.
sentence.
What is your number 1, Mike?
I can't believe that's a sentence, man. Oh my God, man! What a disgrace.
I'm guessing you're picking Godfather, Mike.
Goddamn right I am. If I hit, look, I got that shake, Chris.
Heat.
Heat.
Oh,
John?
Number 1. Heat.
oh my
Matt?
God.
So what's the votes?
It is
2-1.
two votes for Heat, 1 vote for The Godfather.
I can't believe
Who
it.
votes next?
You do.
No, but who votes after me?
Me.
You always get the votes. You always get the votes.
I can't help it. It doesn't matter what.
Nothing. No matter what I do, is going to change the subject. It's not, is it? It's not. Godfather, obviously, number 1.
Godfather with 2 and Heat with 2, but I am sorry, Matt. It has come down to me, and Heat is Al Pacino's
Oh my
number
God.
1 movie.
Oh my God. Oh my God. If he was young enough, Al Pacino would come in right now and smack us in the face. Pick that as his. Oh my! I bet that's the only poster he doesn't have in his house. Al Pacino. Oh my God.
Come on, Paul. Let's count them down.
Counting down. Number 5, Donnie Brasco. Number 4, Carlito's Way. At number 3, The Godfather Part 2. At number 2, The Godfather, and our number one Al Pacino film for this week's 5 on Film is Heat.
Play the sting!
So this is a disgrace.
If I'm there, I gotta put you away. I won't like it, but I'll tell you, you are going down.
Unbelievable.
Hey, do you know what? Listen, guys, that is the second movie that Michael Mann has got number one in our top 5 list. Second movie.
Really good.
Best Tom Cruise movie.
Thank you very, very much for joining us. Chris, anything you want to say to sign off?
Goodbye.
Sorry, Chris, just to explain, Chris has a very hard out, so take care, Chris. We'll catch you in a bit. So just to say on Chris's behalf, I'm sure there'll be a 40 on film for Al Pacino coming our way sometime soon. I'm actually probably sure that Mikey's going to be part of that one.
Oh yes.
But on the as well as that, we have all our socials at 5 on Film Podcast. That's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find us on, get our email at 5onfilmpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Please argue with us because this is going to happen. It should happen.
It's pointless arguing. Pointless arguing.
I mean, come on. Fugazi. It's okay. Look, but no, seriously, get in touch with us. Let us know what you think because then we can do it again and rile you up again. So, back to you, Paul.
I'm about to do a stream in 5 minutes. I'm going to be so angry from the top of the stream. Like, what's this guy playing Nintendo look so mad? It's like you don't know what I've heard, people.
Matt, what have you got to sign off, mate? Matt,
Not much, mate. Just go to the cinema. Go and support your local cinema. Go and see the films. You've got Dune. You've got James Bond still. You've got the upcoming the Marvels movies, the Eternals. I wouldn't bother with that. But go to the cinema. Go enjoy yourself and just enjoy movies. Stream, download, do your best. Watch as much as you can and enjoy as much as you can. And come and as John said, enjoy. Talk to us, mention, and watch us each and every week. But more importantly, actually, if you're watching on YouTube, go and listen to us on the podcasts on Spotify. And listen to us when you can just go walking to work or going out for a walk, whatever, doing exercise. Go and listen to us on those, just audio as well, because that does us just as well.
It does indeed. And our guest this week, I know he's not happy, but Mike, thank you for picking this topic.
I'm so glad I did. I was thinking I look too young for my age. I need something to stress me out.
Allowing us to definitively count down Al Pacino's top 5 movies.
Disgusting. It's barely an Al Pacino film. I'm just saying, man. Oh my god. But in seriousness, I thank you very much for the invitation. I've had loads of fun talking with you guys about this. So thank you very much for the invitation. I hope everyone enjoys this. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to this badass podcast and spread the word.
Plug yourself, Mike. Plug yourself.
Man, no need to plug myself.
Plug away.
No need to plug. Oh, I've gone out of focus. Look at that. It's like heat.
Give us your Twitter, Mike, so that people can agree with you about.
It's just gone soft. It's like my camera work. What's going on? I don't know why.
He's on YouTube as well, and we are going to put all of your details up on the screen anyway, Mike.
Too kind. No need too kind. Thank you.
Anybody who fancies following Mike and his World of Gaming, join him on all the socials that are below. Guys, thank you very much for listening to 5 on Film this week. We have immensely enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Mike, for joining us, and we will see you soon with another episode. Bye. All views expressed in this podcast are that of the individual and do not represent the views of any entity whatsoever which they have been or will be affiliated with in the future.